simply said, I did not agree with the Democratic position, I guess it was combined Democrats and Republicans, of reducing payments into Social Security by reducing the Social Security tax. I think the Social Security program is too valuable, and we cannot say to ourselves, well, we don't really need to fund it. So I hope at some point the Democrats will get around to reinstating and conceivably raising the contributions. We can get to them. The next simple comment is I didn't really feel that it was right for the federal government, given our tremendous debt, not deficit, debt, to send out $600 or $300 to people that were paying taxes in order to stimulate the economy. I'm much more in favor of what you say. We have public works programs. But if you give everybody in this room $300 or $600, it's not going to, you don't get anything for your money. There's nothing that we're going to do except spend the money. Maybe some of it will go over to China, you know, if we buy TV sets or something like that. But we need to get real value for the money, so we need to spend it for the important items. Now that there's one real question, I don't know the answer, I haven't done the research, but there were what we call the Bush era tax cuts. We'd like to see those taxes reinstated. I'm sure that you're on our side in that respect. Do you have any idea how much the Treasury would have gained during the 10 years if those tax cuts had not been enacted? What would our debt situation be?
The Bush tax cuts where the richest 2% of the people in our country got 80% of the benefit of those tax cuts, added $1 trillion to our national debt over 10 years. That's $1 trillion that we don't have. I believe those tax cuts up to expire, but there are lots of people in Congress who will practically go on their sword to make sure that the richest people continue to get their tax breaks. And why? You know, and at the same time, we talk about the employee tax, which puts maybe $1,000 over a whole year in the pockets of middle-class working people. That gets circulated into the economy. It's like unemployment compensation. It circulates in the economy and it pays for necessities. So at the same time as these people were saying we can't get rid of the tax cuts for the richest 2%, but when it came to tax cuts for the middle class, oh, we should do that. We should just have all the middle class people, 700,000 people in the state of Hawaii should see their taxes go up in January 2012. That was A-OK. This is what we're dealing with. And yes, I have a concern about the fact that the employee tax comes out of the Social Security Trust Fund. We can't keep doing it this way, I agree. We need to get our economy going. We need to create jobs. That's what we ought to be focusing on. That's not what we're focusing on in Congress. Except as it dealt with the Attorney General, which I support it. But for everybody else, there's not been a single, in the whole year, not a single direct job bill passed by the House of Representatives. Given it to the veterans, so everybody gets. Well, that's a little tough, you know. It is tough love. But it wasn't going to happen for everybody else either. Not in this Congress. So everybody would have been sick. I don't think that's what that would have been happening.
Representative Hirono, I also want to thank you for the very difficult work that you're doing in the Congress right now. I imagine it must be a horrible place to be. You have to go to work every day.
Well, it's frustrating, but alternative is throwing in the towel.
Right, and I'm really glad that you have that fighting spirit. And the thing that of a very big change on the planet and in this country. And none of us can really get a handle on what that change is. We don't know what the elephant looks like. And we also are afraid for ourselves about how that change is going to affect us. And so I would like to encourage you and the rest of us in this room to have compassion for one another, to try to come up with really good solutions in our own lives day to day. I know we can do that. That's part of the culture of this state and of this island. I'm fortunate. I live out in the country. There's a young farm family that's growing food. It's a community-supported agriculture venture. That's where I buy my food. I buy almost all my food locally. I buy hardly any food now from the grocery store that is imported. So that's possible. We can do that. That's happening here now. Also, the pig hunters come by my gate, and they talk to me like I'm in charge of all that land out there. I'm not, but I do talk to the landowners up there and say, these young men are hunting up there. They're solving a problem for us by hunting the pigs. They eat those pigs. Every now and then they might even have a little bit left over, and I get a little unhappy when that happens. There are all kinds of things like that happening in our lives every day where we can be that change. And I really am glad that you're out there in Washington being the change. Thank you.
I'm very thankful that you said that, because we in Hawaii, we understand what ohana, you know, that we're all part of a family. Anger was expressed in this room tonight, and there were some comments that were made that were not very tonal in my opinion. And this is a free country, people can express themselves whatever way they want. But I think that what we're left with is, even as we disagree on things, what I ask is for people to just get a look to ourselves too, because individuals make a difference. My mother totally changed my life. I've grown up knowing that each one of us can make somebody else's life a little bit better. And if you're not doing that, you know, don't point your finger at me kind of a thing, you know, because we are all in this, and we all can be that change. And I think we can do that so much better in Hawaii. I have colleagues who tell me, when I talk with them about aloha, ohana, they say, what, you folks try to practice? You try to live up to those kinds of ways of ideas of how we respect each other? And because I have colleagues who, for example, during the healthcare debate, they would go home and find coffins on their lawn. You know, and people yelling and screaming and bringing guns to their meetings. And the tragedy of Gabby Giffords, who got elected the same year that I did. I am thankful that we have anger in our community, but I tell you, I have to think that we have to hold fast to something more than that, which is our common humanity. It's our understanding and respect for ourselves and our culture. The Native Hawaiian culture is a gift to us, and that they have the ohana, aloha. Thank you very much. Yes, you're right.
And a lot of us are
Yes. Thank you for that.